So wouldn't you know that the Haslam family decided this would be the perfect time. We've got a lawsuit going on with the city of Cleveland, but here's our plan. We're going to release a fancy video. They released a several-minute video about renderings of a ballpark, $2 billion that they want to build, along with ancillary development, yada, yada, yada. The story of every owner and every franchise. Releasing renderings, for those of you who listen to Nothing Personal, you all know that what you can do with your released renderings is the same thing you can do with Charmin Ultra Strong. But for some reason, owners seem to think that however nice the giveaways are, and when you print a bunch of stuff on paper, release a bunch of stuff on social media, that somehow faking it till you make it in that regard is the same thing as I dream of a new stadium genie coming out and building you what you want. So the plan was we're going to release renderings. Then the next day, we're going to file paperwork as it relates to the lawsuit we're in against the city, where the city's suing us to keep the team downtown. And what we're going to say in those papers is that, Your Honor, there's no way a sane businessman would stay in Cleveland, in downtown Cleveland. The whole lakefront plan is a nightmare. There's no chance, toilet pants, that there will be enough revenue that is driven by that area, by that stadium, to support anything. It's going to be an unmitigated disaster. They actually were dumb enough. This is Haslam, who agreed. I have never had a lawyer do a filing that I didn't read. Is it possible Jimmy Haslam didn't read his own filing? The city seeks to hold the Browns hostage. I really think people should take care with that word, especially given the world today. I don't care whether you are Jewish, not Jewish. I just think in general we agree that hostage taking, not great. But maybe there's no word in the thesaurus next to hostage. I'll check on that after the show. The city seeks to hold the Browns hostage to its own failure of vision. And they want that the expiration of the team's lease does not trigger the Modell Law, thereby forcing the Haslams to offer the team for sale. No more than a day later, the mayor of Cleveland, Mayor Bibb is his name, he said, I have an idea. Why don't I do my own statement? My name is Mayor Justin Bibb, and boy, do I have something to say to the Haslam family. Now, I could have picked up the phone, and I could have called the Haslams, and we could have run this like a government where we don't need to do a media war and a PR fight. But if we're going to be out in public, let me release a statement. He said the city of Cleveland offered nearly $500 million to keep the Browns in the city. He talked about the misleading statements that the Haslams made and all the work the city's done to revitalize the lakefront. All the work that they do to protect your dollars, you taxpayer, because we want to keep football on the lakefront. He wants you to make sure that you know the owner has no interest in you. Shocking. He wants to make sure you know that the owner is going to raise ticket prices, take all your money, increase your taxes, so you're not going to be able to watch the games because you're going to have to schlep outside of Cleveland, and the whole thing's an unmitigated disaster. That wasn't good enough, because Haslam is, according to Justin Bibb's statement, it's a scheme. The Haslam scheme pays for itself on the backs of fans. Isn't that nice? A politician who wants to make sure that he is running a city where his constituents, the lovely people of downtown Cleveland, understand that there's a team owner that's trying to do something that will be to the detriment of you and your pocketbook. I can't imagine what would be in it for Justin Bibb to say that as a mayor. Of course, once he releases a statement about the scheme, it forced the Browns to respond. And Jimmy Haslam responded to the Justin Bibb response with such a crock of crap that it made me laugh. He wants you to know that all the work that's been done shows definitively that an enclosed stadium in Brook Park is the most viable long-term solution and best choice for the Cleveland Browns. What he meant to say is it's the best choice for the Haslam family. And I would like him to have just said that. Don't try to pretend that having a public entity help fund your stadium doesn't benefit you? I was there. I've done it. Remember when we talk about when we release a list of things that it matters what order? When you want to thank the fans, when you want to thank your parents, there's actually an order in which you're supposed to do things that shows very tellingly what's in your head. Jimmy Haslam would have you believe through his response that the only thing in his head is the best thing for you, the fans of the Cleveland Browns. As a matter of fact, he's going to double down and say, it will burden its taxpayers for decades to come, a downtown stadium. Not talking about the reality of Stony Brook and all the money required from the public, but not people in downtown Cleveland. Brook Park, excuse me. I don't know why I said Stony Brook. That's funny. I must have New York in the brain. Thank you, Coca. Brook Park. It would be like the city of Miami going public when there was a Marlins deal to be done in Fort Lauderdale and saying, hey, listen, I can't even imagine why Fort Lauderdale would want to do a deal with the Marlins. I want them here in the city, but man, it's going to cost way too much. Therefore, it should really be either here where we can't afford to do it and it won't be done, or nowhere. It makes no fiscal sense. The Cleveland Browns said that they haven't finalized ticket prices. They're lying to you. While it is true that what the mayor said, that average ticket prices will near $700, parking rates could be north of $100, the Cleveland Browns said, we haven't actually done ticket prices at all. Horse hockey. Do you know what you have to do when you're getting money to build a new stadium? You have to do something called a pro forma. That's a future-looking financial statement, not an audited statement of what's actually happened. It's what you are projecting to happen. One of the things when you project what's going to happen is you project what your local revenue is going to be. You project your gate revenue. You project the attendance. You project the amount of money that everyone coming to games will spend, and you put that in a document and you take it to a bank and say, give me money, please. The public requires pro formas. The banks require pro formas. Even the Oakland A's had to do pro formas in order to get money, whether you're trying to get new investors, whether you're trying to sell at a valuation of $2 billion, whatever you're trying to do when you become the Aths and then the Las Vegas A's, everyone's doing pro formas. In baseball, Major League Baseball today has pro formas for every single team 1, 3, and 5 years out. Every one of them. That's how everyone knows what's happening with payrolls, because you have to project your payroll over the next 1, 3, and 5 years. It defies reason that Jimmy Haslam would have you believe that they have not finalized ticket prices. Now, he'll say I'm not lying because we can always change what's in the pro forma. That's true. But far be it from me to find a ballpark. The Yankees did it in certain sections when their pro forma had prices that were so outrageous that no one bought them. But if you are lowering your ticket prices from your pro forma to your actual sales, you're increasing them somewhere else because you can't change the ATP, the average ticket price, because it's the average ticket price that matters in order to get to your bottom line revenue, which you're using to borrow the money to build the ancillary development that's going to make you rich. So it would be nice if people would just be a little more honest. You don't need to take 82 minutes between statements. You don't need to respond to every statement that's done by a mayor. The mayor doesn't need to respond to every filing done by a private sector company. The amount of time and energy that is spent on these statements would blow your mind, and the problem is they're not impactful. They're not changing votes. They're not building fan bases. They're destroying them, one statement at a time.